all of my social media platforms. Hi, if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Zaakirah. I am a cancer survivor of a childhood eye cancer called retinoblastoma. I am also a professional photographer and a all-around creative strategist. And I am celebrating my 30th birthday today. And all week long, I have been going live in regard to a See Life Different challenge, where I am empowering you to see life different, which is based off of the name of my book, Seeing Life Through a Different Lens, a survivor's memoir on overcoming adversity with resilience. And this is streamed on my birthday, and this is also going to serve as a part of a podcast episode that I record. Um, if I don't record it annually, then I let you do it through email. But if you want to check out the podcast once the audio version is out, you can go to zaakirah.com/podcast. I have had the See Life Different podcast, formerly known as Living Legacy, but also on that podcast, I also ask the question. Like at the end of that podcast, I ask the question of what do you want your legacy to be? And my legacy is to empower women of color, women of faith to powerfully and confidently step outside of their comfort zone and share their stories. And for me, I've been doing that for technically 30 years officially, but even more so lately as a even more so lately as a creative, like all around online creative. So thank you for joining me on my birthday. Yeah, in between today, on the video version, there's the opportunity to literally join me. Join me, say happy birthday. You can join me on video. There's also a link for you to share an audio note, which I will. It's the version of kind of like the version of like leaving a voice message, but like in the version of in as if you don't have my phone number, but you can still leave a voice message. So that's how you can leave me an audio love note. Words of affirmation is my love language. Although hugs is my first love language, but we're still online here, so I can give you a virtual hug and I receive your virtual hug. But you can also leave an audio note on speakpipe.com/see life different. Try to keep it under 2 minutes now. Not a long paragraph, under 2 minutes. Basically going to partially serve as a podcast episode where every year I kind of recap um, lessons I've learned. I've done it in different variations, either by what age I'm turning and how many other tips and tricks or wins, um, which I probably will do because what I started to implement since 2018 is writing down my wins. I've always been an avid journaler, and with me journaling, I'm always celebrating, myself with, oh, I did good today, or oh, this happened today, and I still do that. But as I get older and as I am being even more intentional on what I am, what I am creating for myself and my life and the impact I'm leaving on this earth, I started to begin to be more intentional about, and I'm going to share with you also, really what this year has been like for me, and most of the wins. We're gonna do the wins, but I'll probably will hop over. So I'm gonna be looking at you, but I'm also looking at my notes because I wrote down my wins. I have notebooks and notebooks of ideas, notebooks and notebooks of celebrating my wins, but I'm finally starting to digitize them. So I'm gonna be, looking at those notes. So the summer really just flew by, but let's see. So in January, now this year has been really interesting because it's, when you walk into your purpose, there are moments where you'll want to just say, maybe I shouldn't. Just no, maybe I shouldn't. But there's always going to be a sign that's saying, hello, yes, you should. So I think for me, the biggest thing, there were numerous times where I was just applying for jobs or, uh, yeah, pretty much applying for jobs and didn't get them. But in reality, it's like, wait a minute, do you know that you thrive as an entrepreneur? You appreciate that flexibility, and so why are you applying for that? Why aren't you continuing to take action on the things you already have? And so I heard that message loud and clear of finish what you started this year. So even though I was able to, the silver lining in applying for jobs is, you got to look at your resume again. You got to toot your own horn again. And so although I didn't get the job, I am grateful um, to be able to remind myself monthly of, oh, I've been doing some things. And I made more connections. So some of the goals that I've been setting are when it comes to returning to the motherland. I've been blessed to go to 4 African countries, and I love going to Africa. Why Africa? I was raised to understand my history and who I am and my identity, and Africa played a huge role in it. And so in January, I was able to make some connections when it comes to my next African trip. So another way that I'm starting to count wins is start to count any monetary gift, whether it was the equivalent of like someone bought it with you and um, they were willing to kind of like offer their mentoring expertise. Or you just win a gift card. You get a gift card, or you get a gift from someone. And so I started to celebrate those. I celebrated those, and I was grateful for the people who did contribute those little monetary gifts, um, and how it impacted me. Like I was able to use um, a $25 Amazon gift card, and I just had it on Amazon for. I would see I'm a book hoarder. I love books, so I was just reading books all the time. Um, but the person who gave me the gift card, I think that's been pivotal this year too, because there's a lot of pivotal people. Like if you were to think back to the moments that you've had this year, the good and the bad, there were a lot of pivotal people. And when I think back or look back at it, women of faith, women of color, and women of faith who really believe in sisterhood and believe in seeing you. And so always give thanks to those people, even if you're just writing it down in the Google Doc. I was grateful for the many times I got to make impact. So again, the same thing. Even if you don't see money coming out of it, if someone is acknowledging you and saying that you made a difference in their life, I write down those moments and I write down those names. So those were a lot of moments that happened. This is just January, but I think I'm not going to split it by month because what happens is this literally sets the tone for the entire year. When you write down your wins and you look back on it, you really see just a theme that was going on. Again, although I was applying for jobs, eventually I was able to um, get not necessarily jobs that were in alignment, but I was able to know what I could say yes to and what I could say no to. Um, and I was grateful for the compliments that I received. Um, Grateful for the days that I could eat healthy. Now I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is what some people call secondary cancer. So being able to have the days where I ate healthy, or I didn't have extreme fatigue today, or things of that sort. Like those are moments to be grateful for as well. Um, when the moments when your family and close friends tell you I love you, like those are pivotal moments too. And yeah, I think a lot of it was also networking as well. I think we're starting to follow a theme here. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? And when you utilize everyone that you know, all of the groups that you're a part of, both online and in person, and who you know that knows somebody, that is a huge part of um, taking you to where you need to go. February was huge. February, I got into a leadership program that was pretty much most of my summer. Now I can see why. I was like, I didn't write down any wins in the summer, but I had a lot of them because they were happening back to back to back. Because when you're in the moment of consistent growth, it's hard to reflect on what you're going through. So that's why every single week, especially in that leadership program, we had classrooms, and that's how we started off. Let's celebrate you. What did you achieve and accomplish this week? And so, of course, I had to remind myself to keep writing it down. But I think there were some moments where I was sharing it, in the private Zoom that I forgot to just write it down for me. But that's one thing that I'm starting to implement. I'm probably skipping around again. I actually, I guess one of the birthday gifts that I got was this journal. I think I shouted out her podcast at the beginning of the year too, but it's probably backwards. The Sanity and Success Journal. And when I say journal, I mean journal. Yes. So anyway, this has been inspirational because with my book, I had a lot of moments. They were just full circle moments. I would be looking for something else, and I find reminders. of goals. Remember the whole quote of finish what you started. Goals that I've set from some time ago, and that are still like still need to be checked off that vision board. Still need to be checked off that to do to accomplish list. So, with seeing life through a different lens, one of the goals that I had set, there were two goals that I had set, and I actually just literally came across it today. But with the book, I knew that I was truly starting to walk into advocacy. One, the book itself is ownership because I self-published. I self-designed this cover, and somebody else supported me with editing it. Somebody else took the photograph. Okay, so it really just took teamwork to make the dream work. Yeah, so since then, I knew I was about to create something different. Although I had been a photographer for a decade, I knew it was time to shift. So every new decade, like literally, there's some kind of shift. So I know that what's next is literally continuing to empower women creatives in a like workbook style format back to in person, and even through a documentary. So the theme of finish what you started is I actually continue to have conversations or continue to meet other survivors with the same type of cancer that I have. I got to meet other survivors that have the same type of cancer that I have, and so just knowing and with being reminded of the purpose that I have, which is to continue to advocate and tell those stories. So I was featured on a lot of press. I was featured in a lot of press. I think one of the biggest ones is if you probably have heard of it if you follow other entrepreneurs, but I was featured on which one was the latest? I don't even know which one was the latest, but it's the Voyage Group brand, and so they have Voyage Nashville, Voyage Atlanta. They actually have a subsidiary of that brand called Shout Out, and so they shout out certain cities. So I know I was a part of Shout Out Dallas Fort Worth from when I was in Fort Worth for about 6 months. Dallas Fort Worth actually, and then most recently they have another subsidiary brand called Canvas Rebel, and I most recently featured on that one. So again, relationships, right? Being able to be featured and continue to get in front of other people. Um, and those are kind of nominations. I think that's how that started. You get nominated to be a part of that. 2020 was a blur, but not a blur. Um, I think I remember just continuing to stay moving. I was moving, and still, reaching for that goal. Continue to reach for, follow my purpose. And so I realized that in the midst of life happening, a divorce finalizing, and wanting to continue to be like, what do I want? That I realized I just actually did slow down, but my way of slowing down was one. Um, and so let's see, in 2020, I was doing two things. One, I had left. That was the last time I worked in two jobs at the same time. I think for 2 years I was working two jobs at the same time. So again, hearing that call to get back to entrepreneurship, and with me getting back to entrepreneurship, I knew that I needed to automate. I think I've always been big on automating, and I think I knew I needed to automate in order for me to maintain that level of ease and clarity and a soft life. I needed to get back to automation, and so, anyways, Honeybook was one of the biggest automation tools that I started using, and I love it because they're super supportive. Again, I'm big on community. I'm big on woman empowerment, and Honeybook is one of those automation tools. And so, get back to what I started with. One, I became a Honeybook educator, and then I be educator means I teach others how to use Honeybook and why they should use Honeybook. And two, so Honeybook has been a woman empowerment community, and I also became a leader. Like when I was in Dallas Fort Worth area, I think I'm jumping around, but February, I'm still talking about what went down in February. And so February, when we officially moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I still had like my heart and my foot have one foot into Dallas Fort Worth area because that's where I moved to in 20 April 2021. And so in the midst of all that happening, I become a leader. I kind of take over for a leader who's going to go on maternity leave. And again, your network is your net worth, and to finish what you started. Use what you have. Your network is your net worth, and finish what you started. Those are like the three lessons that I learned from this year, this age, this decade that I'm bringing into the new one. Yeah, I continue to celebrate when I had good health days, and I continue to celebrate when I had good conversations with friends and family. I continue to celebrate when I made connections, put myself out there, right? I did it afraid. And the moments where I was just afraid of rejection, the more I started to put myself out there of the things that I want to do, the people that I want to interact with and work with, even if it wasn't a no, it was always in the form of not yet. I think that no, we tend to tell ourselves. 9 out of 10 times, we're telling ourselves no. It's not that they said no. 9 out of 10 times, if there's a phone call that we were making that we were so afraid to make, and then they don't um, get back to us, it's because life happened. It has nothing to do with you. You told yourself no. They never said that. So that was another big thing, big lesson this year. Yeah, and I think the next thing that I kind of ended up stopping with taking my digital notes at least was like, all this. I'm so grateful for all the love that I've received on my birthday that I'm just like, I got all this love in my heart, and I know that it's in my future to um, have love in my life romantically again. I know that that's in my future, but I think first and foremost is this year was definitely the year of what does Zaakirah want? What do you want? Like that notebook. What do you want? Um, so yes, finish what you started. Don't tell yourself no. Get out of your own way. Utilize your network. Automate. Delegate. I think I should be celebrating the fact that I've been growing the heck out of my YouTube. Because for so long, his imposter syndrome. I'm putting imposter syndrome to the side too in 2023. But imposter syndrome shows up in some miraculous ways. And so imposter syndrome is where you once again just tell yourself no, tell yourself that you're not good enough. You look at somebody else who's doing exactly what you want to do and think, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I don't know enough. Right? And so imposter syndrome showed up because I had been on again. I'm one of those entrepreneurs that has been online since MySpace days. As a matter of fact, my fellow creative strategist at my media group, she posted on social media about another social media channel. I feel like I was back in my mind about this, but it's called Zanga, Xanga, and I was like that. I was looking for it, somewhere, and so I found out the name of it was Zanga, and then there's another one I think High Five was another one. Like we've been resurfacing the names of these social media channels, with the main social media channel doing whatever they want to do this year. And so, anyways, I say all this to say, 10 years ago is when I graduated from my photography certification program. Um, and with me graduating from that, one of the things that we learned was YouTube, use video, grow your YouTube or use Vimeo. And so for me, I just got into my head a little bit. And so for a good 5 years, I did not use YouTube. I migrated over to Facebook videos in like 2018, but I've been reflecting on that, right? Now that I'm going live using video a bit more, I'm seeing people and teaching and empowering other women to use video, use their TikTok. But then I'm like, I've been doing this. I've been doing this. In 2016, I was um, like a community manager, if you will, like online community manager for a digital music startup. Like when I wasn't doing the social media, I was managing the community. And so with me managing the community, I had to use video. We had Periscope back then. We had again Facebook video. So, realizing that a lot of these things are gonna come full circle. A lot of the moments in your life are going to come full circle. They have definitely come full circle for me, and so you're gonna see that a lot in 2023. I know I am already, and I'm ready for it because another one of the things is there's a few lessons that keep coming up over and over and over that you think you passed it, but in reality you didn't because um, it's coming up again. It wouldn't come back up if you didn't actually learn the lesson. And so what's so powerful about the lesson and the test coming up again is that I'm like, I've seen this before. Now I know what to do. And it's like, when the fear shows up, being able to put the fear aside when those lessons come into your life, and actually being able to take action. Take action. That was the other lesson for this year. There were so many moments where, especially I started my leadership program. That was a big chunk of my life this year. But when I really think back on it, um, again, full circle moment. But take action. Like, there's so many. Like I said, I have so many books, so many journals, so many Google Docs of like ideas. And so I was thinking back to these ideas that I was having. And so when I would say it out loud and talk to someone about it, it felt brand new. But then later on, I would find a notebook, or I would find a tweet, or I often use Facebook memories, and I would say, like, I've been talking about this since like 2018, 2019. So take action on the things that you have been on your heart, because they were given to you and to you only. Now, what's coming? I think that's the past, right? That's what we did last year. And if you were, we kind of went talked about 2020 a little bit too, because I feel like a pandemic is technically supposed to be 2 to 3 years, and so I feel like 2023, yes, we're going to be coming out of it just a little bit. Um, so what's coming up for 2023? So the biggest thing is with my with my book that came out, you can actually get your copy at zakirah.com/book, and it's a book written by mother and daughter for other mothers and daughters to advocate for themselves, step outside of their comfort zone, and um, think more positively. Think more positively. See life literally through different lens. How to be more positive guide, and you can get autograph. I'll autograph it for you. A physical copy and an audiobook. This is especially for other women of color. I think that's why I chose to put myself on the cover, to see another woman of color, another woman of faith who made it, and who continued to make it, and who's bringing other women along with her. So with the book coming, I've had this podcast. There's almost 100 episodes of the See Life Different podcast, and with the podcast is I've been blessed to meet so many women on my podcast. And if I had other, men like creative photographers, or um, yeah, I think mainly photographers. My dad was a guest, but I think mainly I've talked to other photographers because of my decade-long experience as a photographer. But what's happening next for the See Life Different podcast is we need more solo episodes. So again, finishing what I started, right? There's a lot of information that's out there. There's a lot of information that should be out there. There's a lot of ways that I can continue to advocate, and I've done that on my podcast for over 100 episodes. And so there's two things that I'm setting and making the intention to happen. One, I literally have 10 more episodes to go at the time of this birthday recording. But two, I am pivoting to be um, solo, like mainly solo, and then I'm also getting back to in-person events. I've enjoyed in-person events. I feel like the love and light and energy can actually be received in in-person events. Most of when I look back on my own information on my own Instagram, most of the people that are actually engaging, I've met them in person. So, um, what's coming up next is more in-person events, and so I'm gonna have my own in-person events, and I'm still tweaking the. I make changes as we go. That's the beauty of market. That's the beauty of marketing. That's the beauty of um, literally everything being online. Like, you can tweak as you go. But I am having the See Life Different in-person workshop. It's gonna be based off of mindset, mental health, health and wellness, in addition to branding. We're continuing to empower women of color, women of faith, entrepreneurs, differently abled entrepreneurs, and those who want to be entrepreneurs, and community. Like, how are you going to take everything that you learn in one day, because it's a one-day event on March 11th, and actually implement it and grow your brand and walk in your actual purpose. You actually want to be creative. You want to live a life of creativity, and you can. There's a lot of people that you admire on social media who are doing it, and you can do it too. So that's what the See Life Different event is going to be. That's pretty much it. Like I can only really plan. I've stopped trying to plan a year out. Although when I sit down and journal every day, like at least anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes daily. Sometimes I have to double up because I do skip a day depending on the workload. But when I journal, I'm always journaling in the future anyway. So, but for me, I don't plan more than a quarter at a time, 3 to 4 months at a time. So between now, as of December 20th and March 20th, that's what's coming up. We're going to um, continue to empower women of color, differently abled women, leading up to this event, leading up to the documentary, leading up to um, really just everything that I've been doing for a decade and packaging it all up in one big package, one big way. I've been kind of like um, bending myself backwards for a very long time, and we kind of need to start. We need to stop doing that. Like us women, we tend to do that a lot, and it helps, but it hurts. It helps, but it hurts. So I'm gonna have a slice of cake, and I'm gonna pretend that you're singing me happy birthday. Oh, I got a special guest. Hold up. I got a special guest. Hi. Hold on. Let me get the link.
Hey!
Hi.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Now, what is this that I'm hearing about you pretend happy birthday?
Yes. Well, I am having a blast enjoying some cake, and I am talking about all of the 30 plus wins from this past year. Oh, by the way, this is my cousin, y'all. Y'all probably looking and listening like, who that chick? It's my cousin,
Hey.
y'all.
Well, allow me to bring that vision forth. Okay, you go ahead and eat the cake, and I will really.
Got you.
Okay. So everybody, three, y'all sing along from wherever you're watching. Okay, 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zah. Happy birthday to you and many more. Yay! See?
Yay!
Now you don't
Thank
have to
you.
pretend.
I got the actual singer songwriter to actually sing for me. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And I know that you love affirmations. So I went ahead and I for you.
Okay.
So you can repeat these. It's a good old money affirmation because who doesn't want some
Yes,
money?
let's do it.
It says, riches flow into my life in many ways and from riches flow into my life in many directions. And the other one says, earth. I care for the earth.
I love it.
And I want to pull another one from another world. The universe has your back because
All
the universe
right.
does have
Got that.
your back.
That one.
So
That one.
let's get one more card for you, and I'll also go ahead and send you. You want to just like go ahead and recite them or incorporate them in a meditation. So we got this one popping out here, and it says, "I owe direct." I got the card. It says, "I always of the universe and know I'm being guided." So those words of affirmation on your 30th birthday. I am happy for everything that you are accomplishing and everything that you will accomplish into this year with clarity, with power, with wisdom, with wealth and success. And I hope you have an amazing birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, cousin. I got cousins everywhere. I got cousins over here. I got cousins over there. Thank you for the birthday wishes. This has been an amazing way to wrap up this live video. So, today I am bringing a very, very special guest. And this special guest is one, dear to my heart because she is family, but also because she's worked with me not once, not twice, but three times. Three times. So we're gonna talk about Houseway, and also we're gonna get to meet her. She's actually along a part of this challenge. We've also had personal concierge. So if you have been on the email list, you've seen the emails go out. If you're in the Facebook group, you've seen the graphics go out. That's all her. And that's the beauty of teamwork. That's the beauty of family. That's the beauty of sisterhood. And so I'm going to introduce to you to singer, songwriter Shawnee Jay. And she's going to talk about herself and what it's been like working with me and how you too can work with the See Like Different brand. So I'm going to bring Shawnee up. Hey, Shawnee.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the godsend, the light of my life this past week. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking about me and allowing me the opportunity to work with you to like really bring this to life. It's been great.
Yes, and let's just go right into that. Like, not only were you the personal concierge, which is another word for like virtual assistant, but that's how we can really make this live launch more personable. But what was different about it for you as also a student? You kind of taking notes for yourself too, I heard, huh?
Yeah, so like I had to go back and watch everything again because the first time I was watching them, it was really for the business and to be able to capture things for the emails and for the posts going out. So I was like, on my day off, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go through all these again and have my notebook and take notes and apply it to me and my business and what I have going on. So, and it's been great. It's been very helpful.
Yay, yay, perfect. Well, let's go right ahead into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you?
So I'm Shawnee Jay, singer, songwriter, spiritual practitioner, and I help people with, authentic storytelling and with holistic truth, whether it be internally or externally.
Now, what y'all don't know is she just learned that from the challenge too.
Oh, I get to say that. Okay, yes. Like, okay, so that was one of the things that I learned and got from the workshop. We got to work on our help statement, so that's mine. And Zaakirah got to. Am I pointing to you and I point this way, or is it this way?
It was the first one you did. Yeah, that one. Are you
Zaakirah
right? Are you
helped
this
me
way
with
or are you
that.
that way?
Like, when she has been doing the promo for this and saying, join us because she will hold your hand and walk you through it, she meant that. So definitely take advantage of this workshop.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, I kind of want to go back. We're gonna go back to basics, and maybe we're gonna go back about 10 years because that is when I first know that your journey first started. One, it first started as a whole, but also first started with me. So tell me more about that. Where were you in 2013?
Oh Lord. Okay, so I pretty much had just graduated college, and I had just either had just released my first EP or was getting ready to. And that's when we did our first photo shoot, and it was amazing. So I got to work with you in the very beginning of building my brand as an artist and really putting myself out there and, coming from the background and behind the scenes and keeping my story to myself, like you talked about. Um, that was me kind of like pushing myself, coming out of my comfort zone and vocalizing. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, and taking those steps so that way other people knew it and it was, I was making it my career. And so you were one of the main people that kind of helped me put my image out there, pull it together, start the brand and everything like that. And we've just been growing ever since.
3 times the charm, like, but what is that like? I know that itself is not normal, right? For people to, one, as a photographer, but two, as a whole, no matter where you are in your creative journey, to work with someone again and again and again. So what was that for you? What came to your mind? What was that like? I'm gonna keep coming back.
Well, I mean, I kept coming back because, I noticed how professional you were. And it's crazy because we had our first photo shoot shortly after we met for the first time.
Yeah.
Like this was within the same like week or weekend. Like it was a short amount of time. And but I had seen your work before then. So like you come prepared, you're organized, you had your portfolio ready, you had work that I could look at and say, okay, I like what she has going on here. And you come fully prepared with your equipment. You're very professional, you're very organized, and you're not someone that just is taking pictures and you're like, okay, next, what are you doing? Okay, next. Like you're giving me tips, you're giving me feedback, you're giving me like certain postures, you're helping with the ideas, you're like taking the time to maybe see what my vision is and then tweak it a bit. And that was what I was looking for in a photographer. So that was amazing. So I just knew like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna work together again. And it was that same vibe and that same energy again and again, a very warm and welcoming vibe. I felt safe, because you're another woman, you're a woman of color, you are a creative as well. So we are we're in the same worlds, like you get it, you know what I mean? Like we can do the work and we can also talk about certain things. So it was all of that for me.
I love that, and thank you for sharing that because, I mean, yes, we're cousins, but like it's beyond that. I think
Yeah.
one, with you being the singer songwriter that you are, and me being a photographer that I still am, even though I'm now tweaking to online and digital marketing and empowerment, but it's still a Caucasian and male dominated industry.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. White, white dominated industry, male dominated industry. And unfortunately I've experienced some shady things, some ugly things. But and so that's why I started to gravitate more towards wanting to work with other women of color, people that I could identify with. And that's pretty much become like your whole brand. And so it's something I've been able to like gravitate towards and keep with even after all this time. So it's definitely about more than us just being family. You know what I mean? Like you're talented, you know what you're doing, and you're passionate about this, and you actually care, and that comes through in your work and in your energy. Like you can feel it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, I feel like I want you to dig a little deeper. Like, tell us what has been that journey like? Like, from then to now. I think people are probably, if they saw your photo, they're like, "Oh, she got a little head wrap on now. What's going on? Where's her pop up?"
Yes, so much has happened. I've learned so much. There's been so much like enlightenment along the way. Um, back then I was rocking the huge afro, and now I'm like bald, and I love it here. And one thing about like people may not realize about like the natural hair care journey, um, you kind of go in one rabbit hole and you end up in another, and it like segues and everything. So along the way, I started to have to pay attention more to like your hair and what it needs, and then you start learning if you want something beautiful on the outside, it has to start from the inside. And so you see a lot of things about like clean eating, and I was noticing that I was feeling really fatigued, really just sluggish, super tired after a meal, wanting to take these long naps, no energy, procrastinating, my body's aching, my knees are cracking. It was just not good. So I started looking more into like doing a lot of research about like health and wellness. And that's when, like maybe a year later, 2014 is when I started to just eat seafood. I was doing like the pescatarian diet thing, did that for 2 years, and then went vegetarian. And I've been that way ever since, just living the plant based diet. And as far as music, we've kind of evolved from there too. But you've been with me on this journey, and I'm so happy to be able to say that. Like, you've been able to kind of capture this journey over time, and that's really cool. And I'm honestly looking forward to another photo shoot because I need, with the new look and the updated brand look.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you being a part of the journey as well because when we met, I think that you also just graduated from photography school, and I hadn't had, I think maybe by our second photo shoot, I think I probably started to have a social media client. But even now, I think we're literally, like you said, just right alongside each other's journey. It's not like somebody's ahead and somebody's trying to get behind or any of that. And even with now, like that's where we're going now. That's what See Life Different Challenge is. It's all about. It's bridging the photography, the digital marketing, the community all together because also there's not that many women of color that are holistic, right? Like from the inside out, and that's also where we're in alignment. And I'm so happy that you are here. I'm so happy that you are still sharing your journey. I'm so happy that you are still walking in your purpose.
Yes. And it's so nice to be able to say, that I'm walking beside someone that's another, amazing, beautiful Black woman of color, however we're identifying. We are hand in hand. We are walking beside one another, and just being able to support one another on our journeys. Like, it's been an amazing thing to have that support system and to be able to, have your support with what I'm doing and to be able to support you with what I'm doing, and to just have this like nice exchange over the years. Like, it's been great.
Yeah. Now speaking of support, if someone else is really looking for that, level of support, why should they choose the See Like Different Summit?
Well, let me just say now. um, so like I said, they should choose it because I've definitely been learning a lot. Like, we are on, what is this, day 4, 5? It's going by so
We've been
quick.
going since the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. Yep,
Oh
we've been
yes, because
going.
tomorrow's the birthday. We're doing a little more of a more relaxing, more of a Q&A kind of style. So yeah, it's been like a lot of information like coming in, and it's definitely been helpful. It's definitely been eye-opening. I am starting to see how much needs to be done. Like, I'm pretty much ready to just tear it down and start it over and build it from scratch. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a lot of information, you know what I mean? That you are so knowledgeable about what you're doing. And again, like I said, it shows, and it's across the board. It's not just with the photography. I've been able to witness your journey with everything that you've been doing, with the marketing, with the social media, with the like agencies, with the websites, like the workshops. You're giving it all. Like, and even within this workshop alone, you're offering all these resources to help people, and almost anyone can use this. You know what I mean? It's not for just one type of person in one type of industry. Like, you've made it to where people can apply it and customize it and do what works for them. And like I said, you have just been a, sorry for the background noise, you've just been a very like warm and welcoming personality. Your name literally speaks for itself. You are a bright light. That is very, very true. And you've always been super professional, and I just feel like, as a Black woman in a, like we said, in a male dominated industry, it gets hard to find that. You know what I mean? I've been in situations where, I thought certain people were my friends. I thought they were going to support me, and they didn't. And I found that very weird, but I never found that to be the case with you. I personally think it's weird when people do something like, let's say you take my photos, but then you never post them. I'm the only one that posts them, and I even tag you, but then you never even repost it. Like, I've been in those kinds of situations. Um, but that's never been the case. You take my photos, you post them up, you tag me, you say, hey, this is an artist, this is singer songwriter Shawnee Jay. Go check her out. You know what I mean? You show up to come support me in multiple different ways. So it's like, not only did I get a photographer or build a working relationship, now it's kind of like, we have a back and forth. We have a relationship outside of that. And I think that's very important. It's something that's even looked over today to a certain extent. So yeah, I just go for it, y'all. Like make the investment in yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And speaking of, while you're at this new journey and new phase of your life, we're just about wrapping up, and I want to thank everybody for listening and watching too. Now, where can they find and connect with you? Like, what if they want them, you to be their personal concierge?
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I have been the personal concierge for Zaakirah during this workshop here. So I'm offering virtual assistant and social media management services. You can follow me um, either on the Instagram that you see below, or you can check out my website, magicallymade.me. I have a section on there that says hire virtual assistant for hire. That's where you can set up a call with me and we can talk about what it is that you need. And yeah, I'm also on Facebook, Shawnee Jay. I'm also on TikTok, Shawnee Jay _
Go to that website. Go to all of her social media networks. Check out all of her services. And I mean it not just because I'm saying go support my girls, and I mean that. And anything else you want to say to anybody if they didn't got nothing else from anything that you shared tonight?
I mean, I'm all about just like living your truth, live your truth. It's okay to be honest with yourself about where you are, but make sure that you take the time to be proactive and take the steps that you know you need to take to get to where you want to be. And, I truly do feel like I was blessed with this opportunity. Like when you talk about divine timing, like it really went both ways. So this was great. I've been so glad and grateful to have this experience, to be able to kind of get behind the scenes and be able to pick your mind and just see this all like unfold for you. It's been amazing and I really appreciate it. And I really pray that everything turns out well and that you have a successful rest of the workshop and a successful turnout for the summit. All right, make sure y'all go sign up. I'll be sending out those emails.
All right, so this is the link there below. That's the link to find out more details about this summit, March 11th, 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. It's especially for you if you are a woman of color, especially for you if you are a creative, especially for you if you are differently able, okay? And if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me or Shawnee. Okay, that's that. Thank you for rocking with me. Um, thank you for watching, especially if you're new, especially if you're an old timer. Once March comes, I just feel like March is a rebirth. March is going to be a rebirth for all of us, and I'm here for it. So catch me on social media. Make sure you're on my email list. Where can you find me everywhere? Well, start at zaakirah.com. ZAAKIRAHNAYYYAR.com. And then you can go from the podcast, which is 100, almost 100 free episodes on mental health, entrepreneurship, and life, like lifestyle. Um, and then you can then hop over and get my book, a physical and or audiobook version of my book. This is especially if another sense of empowerment and a sense of advocacy, how to advocate for yourself, especially when it comes to sisterhood and community, because it's written by both mom and daughter. My mom wrote it too, and my mom's birthday was December 14th, so I am her birthday gift. Um, After the book, then you can take a look at what it looks like to work with me. So, like I said, I'm focusing on women of color, women of faith who want to step outside of their comfort zone, grow their brand, and market their brand with ease. We're team automation over here. So that's what we're going to do all 2023. And if you calculate 2023, 22 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, it's the basic math, but I got that message. I do basic math. I'm a creative, I'm not analytical or financial, although I need to be, since my goal is to be a CEO and continue to be a operating CEO. But 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. If that's anybody's lucky number, you're it. It's your year. So let's do this. Let's make this happen. Thank you for celebrating my 30th birthday with me. We're going to celebrate all the way up until March. Thank you. I love y'all. And I will be seeing y'all in person soon.
Yes.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for the love. I felt the love, keyword love today. Love every single day. We're going to love and live out loud. And we're going to operate in our purpose. That's what we're doing. Love you, love you, love you. And I will see you all soon.